Hey, welcome back everyone to another episode of Cosplayers Paradigm. Today we have a special guest with us today who has been rocking the cosplay community with some phenomenal cosplays and puppetry. Now, who would have thought that we'd see puppets in the cosplay community as prominent as we have lately, but this person is definitely one to go ahead and watch out for because they're dragon, they're wicked, and so many more I can only assume to come up here in the near future are just going to be absolutely phenomenal. Let's go ahead and talk to puppets over people. How we doing?
Hi, how are you? Good, good, good. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, appreciate you. You are phenomenal. I mean, the first time that I saw you, I turn around and all of a sudden here's a dragon almost in my face, just moving around. It's like, oh, what? What's going on?
Yes,
You're,
that dragon fooled quite a many people. The kids loved him. So
oh,
he
I can
was,
imagine.
yeah.
Your outfit, the wig, you did everything together. It was just phenomenal. And then seeing it
Oh,
in the
thank you.
cosplay contest, how you're moving around and how posing and just there was no words for it other than just in awe.
Yeah, so the funny thing about my dragon is that actually was the very first cosplay I ever did in a competition. So this is a little crazy,
Okay,
but I only started doing cosplay last November. I had never done it before. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know
really?
anything about Comic Cons. I had never been to a Comic Con. And I built that dragon as a costume for Fort Custer, which is a camping place, has a Halloween trick or treat thing. And I did that to show the kids, my kids, that you can build pretty much anything you want. So I built this dragon. Well, I went as a quote unquote dragon trainer for this costume thing. Well,
Hmm.
everybody thought I was how to train your dragon. So they were asking me if I was the how to train your dragon. I'm like, no, that's not toothless. I don't look like Hiccup, that doesn't make any sense. So then somebody at Fort Custer mentioned you should go do the contest at the Firekeepers Casino. They have a big costume contest. And I said, all right, well, I already have it made, so I might as well. I went. The response was overwhelming. I got sixth place out of 476 contestants. And I thought, I didn't even try, like, I'm not trying to win anything. I just thought it would be cool to use the dragon again. And I would, more than once a year. And somebody at the casino said, you should take that to a Comic Con. And I said, why would I take that to a place with comic books? I thought that's just where they sell comic books. And they said, no, they've got people that dress up. And I'm like, well, that's probably the people that they ask. And, that's not me. And he said, no, everybody can dress up. And I thought, well, that's cool. Another reason to dress up. I love that. So I thought, I'll try it. And I went to the Grand Rapids Comic Con last November, was the very first time I had ever gone. I went on Saturday. I showed up at noon with my dragon on, and everybody said, are you in the contest? Are you in the contest? And I said, what contest? I didn't know there was a contest. So everything just kept leading to something else. And that actually was the first time I met Night Mage. And him and I had a long conversation, and he's just the coolest guy. And he said, I kept asking him all these questions. I said, well, how do I do cosplay? Is there a class, or do you have to sign up? Or, I mean, how do I do cosplay? And he looked right at me and said, girl, you're doing it. And I'm like, this is it? I get to just make cool stuff and bring it out, show it to people? And he said, yeah, that's it. I'm in. So ever since that, I have lived and breathed every Comic Con I could get to. And I've made my husband travel to Motor City, and we went to Kalamazoo, and I've taken my kids, and now my kids have started making things to do cosplays. And I realized it was a lot more than just comic books. I never knew that. So, I mean, I guess how would you know, right? I didn't grow up in a gaming family. I never gamed. I never watched anime. I don't know all these shows. I don't know anything about it. I just like to make things, and I craft, and I love puppets. And then I didn't realize that I was like, where are all the puppets? Like, why aren't there puppets here? And you could have, that's the best thing about cosplay is you get to create your own little kind of niche or niche or whatever you want to say. And I looked around and nobody was doing puppets. And I thought, there it is. That was my answer. So now it's
Mhm.
puppets over people. You know, it was puppets over people before, but now we're going to cosplays too.
Nice. No, that is just brilliant because I was at that con when you first showed up, and that's where I saw it. And it was just, it was unbelievable. But like you said, you don't see people do puppets. And that's what got me thinking I wanted to do the one that I told you about. And
Yes.
then I saw you at Spring Fling, then, other places as well. I was like, wow, okay, we've got this right here. We've got this one. What's going to be next? I mean, what's more?
Well,
And
and the best is you can be two characters. You
exactly.
literally can be two. Like instead of having to choose just one character to focus on, if you find something that has a sidekick, a counterpart, an animal friend, a whatever, you can do both and you don't have to pick which one you want to do. You can do both. And that's the best. I specialize with my puppets, it's soft style ventriloquist puppets like Nanny Adnan Doobie here behind me, or but then for cosplays, I go to what's called illusion puppets. So illusion puppets are to make it look like the puppet is actually alive. So you want that the fake arm or some kind of illusion to show that it's alive. The dragon I puppeted like this. This was his neck, the hand, and then I had the fake arm come down like this. So people were confused because their brain looks at it and goes, wait a minute, I see two hands, but the dragon's moving, which makes it feel like it's alive. So it's that illusion and that magic, trying to bring that into your character. So
That and a lot of talent too, because not anyone can just put their arm into something and, okay, yes, I can do this, I can do that. But to give that movement, to go ahead and give that realism of what the creature actually is, the character, it
well,
takes dedication, which is amazing because you really had that moving, like you said, the illusion of it being completely alive.
the trick is and this might sound a little silly, and I'm sure people in my car will like if they ever saw me driving around in my car, because I'll pretend to puppet along to songs, because you have to almost give half your brain to the puppet and your other brain is working your body type thing. So when the dragon is moving, the whole key is to trick other people's brains to believing that it's real, which means he doesn't look exactly like I do. He's got to look like this. And then he moves when I'm holding still, and then I move when he holds still. And it's that switching back and forth where they don't have the same movement. Another thing, especially with an animal creatures, is watching videos. I watched a lot of videos of dragons, How to Train Your Dragon, all these other, the dragon movie. And I watched their body language, and a lot of things that dragons do in movies is they arc their neck up a little bit. So while having his nose pointed down and having that neck arc back a little bit, people remember that from movies, and then it just makes it feel alive. So just
Yeah,
studying your characters.
which is perfect. I mean, everyone studies everything for different characters, how to
Yeah.
cosplay, how to movement right there, but you really bring it to life because even your Wicket, the movements of
Yes.
his head while holding on to you, you could almost see like him hugging you as well or loosening up. Just even though
Yes.
the only thing you're controlling is the head, everything else still feels like it's moving as well. So it's just in all inspiring. So anyone out there, if you're interested in something like this is the person to talk to because
Yeah.
honestly, they're killing it, and they've only been in cosplay for a short period of time. So
Yeah. Less than
you
a
know,
year.
yeah, you knocked it out of the park walking into it, and
Yeah. Well, I've been
so
doing
definitely,
crafts my whole life, and now I finally have a reason to do it year round. I've always done it for like Halloween or for
yeah,
whatever, and now I get to do it year round, and I think that is the biggest gift to me. One funny thing is when I went to Motor City Comic Con, I had Wicked on, and they tried to charge me for an adult and a child because they thought it was real. I actually had to take his head off and show them that it was my hand for them not to charge me for the child.
See, that's how you know you're doing it right. When people can't
Yeah,
tell the difference right there, no, 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 no. 2 tickets, sorry.
yeah,
Yep,
it's just, yeah,
$160,
like,
come on.
I know I went with my husband. They're like 2 adults, 1 child. And I'm like, we didn't bring kids, did we? Like, we don't have a child with us, do we? And they're like, no, 2 adults, 1 kid. And they pointed at Wicked. And I was like, oh no, this is me. Hi. And I had to take his head off and show him.
So I understand how that goes because
Yeah.
years ago, I cosplay. Well, this is before I actually started cosplaying because this was Halloween. And I was out in the yard dressed up as a character. No one wanted to come into the yard to get Halloween candy because they were absolutely terrified. So
Oh
I had to
my gosh.
continuously take the mask off over and over again just for the
Yeah.
kids to realize he's human. Oh, wait a minute, I know him. Okay.
Okay, we're good now. Yeah.
Yep. I
Well,
literally dressed up as
I
darkness.
had kids talking to Wicket that would come up and say, "Can I be his friend?" and hugging him, and "Can I touch his ears?" And so with each cosplay that I've done, so this is Wicket 2.0. The first Wicket I built, I didn't like, so I rebuilt the entire thing. Um, the first Wicket, the head was too big, it's too gray in the face, it didn't look like Wicket, it didn't feel right, he wasn't proportionate, and he didn't have, so the one that I competed with at Motor City just wasn't right, and I had to fix it. But the kids with this one, when I took this one to, let's see, where did I go after that?
Capital
No,
City.
it was Motor City. I don't know.
Okay.
I can't keep track. Oh no, Lansing. I took him to Lansing. I took this Wicket 2.0 to Lansing, and I had kids that wanted to hug him, kiss him, be friends with him, wanted to, lay on his shoulder, play with his hands, all this stuff. So with each illusion puppet, I have a little gimmick with the little kids. So with the dragon, if you scratch the bottom of his neck, he'd shake his head. So he loves chicken nuggets and macaroni and cheese and taking naps. So he has a backstory. With Wicket, if you tickled the bottom of his foot, he laughed. So the
Okay.
kids could actually touch him and feel him, but he would react to them touching him, and I would tell them he's going to react in this way, which made him even more lifelike. Does that make sense?
That does. In fact,
Yeah.
that is, and I know I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Brilliant. I mean,
Thank you.
what else to go ahead and think about right there? I mean, just you think the backstory, you think the foreground, you kind of covered everything. That's that's awesome dedication. That really is.
Yeah, well, he becomes part of the family. It's like when I build a big creature like this, all my girls, I have 3 girls, all my girls wanted to play with them. And I try to make them durable enough and show my kids that you can play with the things that you make. You don't have to put them up in a glass box. They should be played with and they should be used like all of my puppets are. I'll take a whole box of puppets to church with us and let all the kids just play with them, and they're yanking their heads back and pulling their mouths, and I just, whatever, it's a puppet. So that's what they're for. That's how the creativity comes out, and that's what they're going to remember. They don't need to remember a dragon head sitting in a glass case. They wanted to play with it and touch it and pretend with it. And that's what being a kid is about. So I make them durable enough, but I also make it so that if they do get damaged or they get hurt or they get ripped, that we can fix it. So then we work on it together and fix it together so that they show that it's lessons, but also their creativity and figuring out what their limits are for what they're doing. The only thing is like Wicket's body is a little too big for the girls, so I'll wear Wicket or they'll just use his head or something like that. So he
But
gets
that's awesome
beheaded.
right there. Don't say that to anyone else right there. We don't want any
I
Ewok
know.
lovers.
I
But
know, right? All the Star
no,
people are Star Trek fans or Star Wars fans.
oh, someone might go ahead and get in trouble. Wait a second. I'm wearing a red shirt. I'll be the first one down.
Yeah.
That'll be me. No, that's awesome though to actually have the kids interact with it for the creativity, showing, have fun. nowadays we don't see that as often, and that's one thing I love about the cosplay community. The kids come in, even if it's a store-bought costume, they see stuff, then they get all inspired. They meet their heroes essentially, and they go, "Oh, I want to do more," or now I have a new idea, and it just spitballs into more and then continues down. It's
Yes.
just wonderful to see this creativity and
Well, and
seeing
another
the
another
imagination again.
thing, another thing I do with all my cosplays is I use products that you have at home. So I'll reuse, paper towel tubes, ping pong balls, fake nails, stuff like that. Because when the kids do see it and they go, wow, he's got such pretty eyes, I'll say, yeah, those are two plastic spoons, and that's just a golf ball. And that's these are fake nails. And this is an piece of an inner tube. And this is so that they know, like when they go home and the next time they see two plastic spoons, they might hold them up and go, hey, look, I got eyes. And then that spurs on even more creativity on their part. So I try to, I don't go out and buy puppet eyes. I make them. I don't go out and purchase forms for puppets. I just make it out of an old glove or a sock or a whatever I have. I mean, I'm always at Goodwill seeing what treasures I can find, and what my kids now refer to as treasure hunting. So when we go out treasure hunting, it's usually for mom's puppets. So all the clothes they're wearing are all Goodwill. All the shoes they're wearing are all Goodwill. They're not new store-bought stuff. These were worn by kids, you know.
See, I really love that, but are we going to see in the future, maybe you're going to go ahead and have a TikTok going up of you put the hat on and now it's treasure hunting time. So come on, kids, let's get in the car.
I wish I had more time to film TikToks. You know what? I've kind of gotten into this weird, I don't know if it's good or bad, but so with the dragon at the spring show in Kalamazoo, I won best in show. And that was an absolute, when I say surprise, I didn't even know that was an award. Like I was like, what is that? I was, so when you saw me at Kalamazoo being shocked, I was legitimately shocked because I did not even know that they had a best in show. So then I kind of got on this mindset of, okay, I am not going to make another cosplay until, because I would just sit down here making cosplays all day long, and I would never get anything done else. So I said I didn't want to do another cosplay until I placed, just judge's choice, first, second, third, best, I don't care, with Wicket, because I don't want to retire Wicket yet until he places for something. So
Fair enough.
that's when I took him to Motor City, and I ran into kind of an issue with the contest at Motor City. And it's not anything against them, these are their rules. But
Hmm.
I did not know that some Comic Cons, and I don't know if anybody else who competes in Comic Cons knows this, but they are not judging on props. They will not judge on props. That's how it was explained to me. So they did not even look at Wicket. They
Wow.
considered Wicket a prop. And I'm like, no, this is my cosplay. Wicket and I are two characters together, Leia and Wicket, and that is the cosplay. So I emailed to make sure, like, hey, just so you know, I'm bringing a puppet. And they said, well, you cannot do any performance. I said, he's not performing, but he moves. And they said, well, he can't move. And I said, well, I'm not puppeting. Like, I'm not up there
Yeah.
puppeting. He's going to move though, because he's going to look alive. And when I went to the contest, I again went to the main judge person and I was like, just so we're clear, this is one whole cosplay, right? Because I just want to make sure I'm setting myself up for preparing. I'm a planner and I like to know things. I wanted to make sure we were all good. And we went up, and 3 minutes before I walked on stage, she walked up to me and said, just so you know, we're not judging on props. And Wicked is a prop. So I was like, 5 seconds before I walked on stage. So when I go on stage for Motor City, I'm like, what do I do? I can't move.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do. And it wasn't about placing, it was about doing well. I use all of my contests as content for my TikTok. And I met so many amazing people, and I got to be on this other podcast thing, and I met some news crew people. And it was a win, 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 win all the way around. I left completely happy, but a little bit like confused about how I was going to continue doing puppets and cosplay if they're going to be considered props. So I really have still to this day have thought and thought and thought, like, how do I not make it a prop? They didn't consider the dragon a prop, but they considered Wicked a prop. So I don't know if you can only
Hmm.
have like one character and it's part of your character. Like if you did Venom, okay, that's technically the same character when he turns into Venom,
Yeah.
right? But if you do Leia and Wicket, that's two separate things. And I don't know if that would be
Hmm.
considered a prop. So I ran into that little bit of a snafu, and I don't know how I'm going to maneuver that. But I also know that every Comic Con is different.
It's true.
So I don't know. I don't
So how
know.
was it when you were at the cosplay contest in Capital City?
So when I went to Capital City, I did not place at all, but which is fine. Again, tons of content, tons of video, met a lot of friends, I talked to a ton of people, saw some awesome cosplays. Everybody loved my cosplay. I always get everybody loving, oh my gosh, that's so cool. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen. You know, even one of the judges, his entire family took pictures with my cosplay and stuff like that. I don't understand contests yet. I think that they're all very different, but I also don't know what's going on behind the scenes. So I don't know. I'm just going to do the best I can and come out and be positive and support everybody else who does win and does place. The people that placed at Motor City were amazing cosplays, tons of sewing, lots of detailed like beadwork and stuff like that. That takes a crap ton of time. I'm a sewer too, so I know how much went into those cosplays. I think the difference is the wow factor versus knowing how much they put into those cosplays, because people walking by seeing that beautiful dress she made would have no idea that she put 300 hours into that dress. You know, and that is sad to me because she should be wearing a sign that said, I put 300 hours into this dress and you could never do this because it was that good. You know, so I get it. I totally understand. And I don't know how these judges do it, because you've got people that are 3D printing the most amazing stuff on the planet. You've got other people doing foam work, which is unreal.
Hmm.
You've got other people doing sewing, which is unreal. You've got other people with fabulous props and LED lights and battery packs and sound machines and all this electronical animatronic stuff that is crazy. How do you pick? They're all geniuses in their own area. So
That's very
I don't
true.
know how they do it.
You know, I have no answer for that myself. I've seen so many, and at the Grand Rapids Comic Con, with all the guests that they had for the cosplayers, you talked to Night Mage. He does his on a budget, and it looks phenomenal. You probably
Yeah.
saw BB, who was next to him. She deals with foam work. A couple
Yes,
tables
Phoebe
down. With,
Alclade, she's phenomenal
yep.
foam work. I've watched some of her
Ex-
videos. I can't understand it. So
I
good.
know, right? And then you look down at the other tables and you see like the pinks, pink opal and pink petal. One
Yeah.
doing hand sewing on some fabric that normally would tell anyone, nope, we're not going to touch you, but still does it and nails it. The other one with the wig working and the 3D printing. And, you know, you
Yeah.
just keep looking at everyone. Each one's got their style of what they showcase, but not limited to. Like you,
Yeah.
you're a seamstress, but you focus on the puppets. You have that demeanor about you at the same time. You envelop, become the character, you know.
Yeah.
It's everyone's got their thing, and it's hard to say. I mean,
You know
I
what?
saw one
Honestly,
guy.
though, I would do cosplay just for the kids. I honestly,
Yeah.
I would do cosplay just for the kids. When I go to Comic Cons in any of my cosplays, I only have two, so I guess I can say any in either of my cosplays. The look on the kid's face when I walk in and they, for just a half a second, think that my creature is real, is that little bit of magic that we lose when we're adults. We have no more
Yes.
magic in our lives. We have so much hate and negativity and politics and arguing and anger and all these things in our lives, and we don't have any just peaceful magic anymore like we had when we were kids. And if I can bring just a minute of that back to somebody when they're at Comic-Con and surrounded by all these amazing things and these colorful, wonderful, happy things, and they just for a second believe that that fantasy could be real, that's worth it. That's my gold star every time. So
I couldn't agree more. Getting that tap on the shoulder and saying, "Oh my gosh, I love it. Can I please get a picture? I'm such a fan." And you just it melts in your heart. You feel like a kid again. You
yeah,
know. But you're
yes,
right. We lose that magic as we go ahead and progress in age, and trying to hold on to it is hard. Knowing we have
yes,
a community like this, the cosplay community, which is worldwide, we have all these people we can talk to that hold on to that magic. And you know, I'm perfect with it. It's Toys R Us in a whole new level. I don't want to
well,
grow up. I want to be a kid.
I know. And what's so amazing that I have found now, mind you, I've only been to 4 Comic-Cons, right? So Grand Rapids in last November, Kalamazoo, Motor City, Capital City, and then my next one will be back in Grand Rapids in November. So that literally I've been to 4. And the one thing that I have noticed, which I don't know, like people that have been in this community for a really long time probably just don't even realize this is happening, but there is no judging. I love that. People
Hmm.
can walk in with a store-bought or bed sheet pulled over their head with some Sharpie on it, and then there can be the $3,000 animatronic 8 foot tall crazy gaming monster, and
Hmm.
just as many smiles when the kids realize what characters each of them are. There is no judging on that's not good enough, that's too much for here, that's not done well enough. There's no judging. There's no judging. Everybody is so accepting of each other. There's no pushing, there's no shoving, there's no arguing, there's no insulting, there's no meanness, there's none of that. Well, hopefully, I haven't seen any. But
That's good.
whether people 3D print or foam or sew or do puppets or have furry things or the fursuit people, I don't know what they're called, or the anime people or the whatever gaming groups or whatever. It's just everybody is so accepting, and we don't have that in life anymore. We don't. We don't have it anywhere. You can't go to the grocery store without people arguing with each other.
Unfortunately, this is true. And
Yeah.
the worst part is, it feels like it started in high school. You get separated
Yeah.
into cliques, and somehow in your mind, you stick with the cliques. You grow
Yeah.
up, you go on to the workforce, and same thing. Oh, well, that person's over there in automotive. Well, I'm over here in photo or something like that. I guess these are
And
my
you
people
have to
instead.
identify like that for the rest of your life because that's the label that's been placed on you.
Yeah, but the problem
Yeah.
is, I like to scratch labels off.
Yeah. Oh,
Always
I
have.
am, I am, I am I will change my personality daily. You can ask my husband. I'm like, today I'm feeling preppy. Today I'm feeling grungy. Today I'm feeling stretch pants and a hoodie. Today I'm feeling, today I want to make
I
a
do.
mean, angry puppet with tattoos. The next day I want to make a pink monster puppet. And the next day I want to make, that's what it's kind of the joke that these are all my personalities, you know, that I can store my personality like in Doobie here. This is my stoner puppet. And then Nanny Edna, who's the old lady who cusses like a sailor, and then Dr. Constantine, who knows everything. These are all my personalities. These are the people that all the hats I wear. You know.
I do. Some people write it down in a journal. Others
Yeah.
go out and they paint a picture or do something along the lines of that. You do it in puppets. And
Yes.
that's absolutely wonderful, An outlet to be able to enjoy yourself, to go ahead and really bring back everything that's, there with the character. How do you go wrong?
Yeah. That I would love to see. I would love to see more puppetry in cosplay.
This
Not
is true.
puppetry in the sense that you're going to stand up and be a ventriloquist. That's not what I'm saying. I'm
No,
talking
I know.
about using all of your appendages for other things. You know, like instead of just having that arm piece of I don't know. I mean, I have a whole list of ones I want to do. The next I want to do toothless. I really want to do
That would be
Hiccup and
awesome.
Toothless. And with the new movie coming out, I was going to try to get it done by November, but there's no way. And Wicket hasn't placed yet. So I'm going to keep going with Wicket until he at least places for something so that I can put him off to the side and start the next one. But I want to do Ripley with an alien from Aliens.
Oh,
I
that
am
would
a
be amazing.
huge Alien fan. I've watched that since I was little, and I love every single Aliens movie. So I want to do the big yellow loader, like the
Oh,
10-foot
yes.
tall
Yes.
yellow loader, but I want it to have an alien puppet coming over the top of it, snapping at her.
That is,
Yeah,
wow, that's, I can't even imagine it, but at the same time, I can. I would love to see that.
yeah.
I did
So,
see online though, years ago, someone made a power loader like that,
yeah.
but they put their daughter in the front. So they're in the loader itself operating it while she's just standing there looking like she's
Uh,
operating it.
I saw that they
What if,
had one a couple years ago at C2E2, and I really liked it. But what I did is I kind of have started my research. I have some snippets from the movie, the size, like how to figure out sizing of how big certain things need to be, the harness, like what parts should come apart. My biggest problem, how do I fit through a door? That's my biggest issue. Like
true.
I need to make it so that I can fit through a door. So how do I do that? So that working that out, maybe removable arm pieces or being able to duck and walk through or something like that. But then with the alien puppet over the top. So then I was thinking, well, maybe if I did just a Ripley walking around and then she's caught the alien puppet and it's in chains, then I can do the illusion puppet as the alien moving. So I could try that. But then why would Ripley have an alien in chains? That doesn't make any sense. So I've kind of gone back and forth with how I'm going to do stuff. I would love to do the loader, but I need to be able to add a puppet. That's one thing I have set the precedent for myself that whatever cosplay I'm going to do has a puppet. I have to do a puppet every time. That's the goal I set for myself is that I have to have some kind of puppetry in every cosplay I do. So whether that's little or big or whatever, I'd like to do an Alice in Wonderland with a Cheshire cat. And I'd like to do, yes, that one would be a lot of fun. I'd like to do something from the Jungle Book. I think that I'm kind of old school. I'm not a gamer and I don't read
I,
comic books and I don't watch anime, so I don't know what to do other than what I know.
that is, there is nothing wrong with that. And the funny part is over the years, you may have actually been watching anime and didn't realize it, and because it could be categorized as a cartoon. But
Yeah,
one way, shape, or form, we've seen different things. I mean, you may not have read a comic book itself per se, but you might have read comics in the Sunday papers.
yeah,
So you know, you have knowledge from all over, which is good. And I love the pop culture, definitely. I mean, you're looking at
yes.
a guy whose first cosplay was Castiel from Supernatural.
Oh, okay.
So I get it. And my second one was Ash from Evil Dead.
Oh,
So I
I
made the
love
chain.
that movie.
So I
With
did the
the dead
chainsaw.
guys coming out. I love horror
Yep.
movies.
I did the chainsaw for the hand. I did the shotgun hanging out of the back. I did the whole thing right there, and it got a lot of love. But
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't mind doing Popeye, like Robin Williams version. There's
Yeah,
so many
I'd
old
like to
things.
do Maleficent once just so that I could do the
Ooh,
wings. I just want to do the wings. And because I have like the body structure for Maleficent, like with makeup and stuff, and I feel like I could pull it off, but I'm again go big or go home. So I would like to make a 20-foot wingspan. That's my
and
get. I
you could
want
put
to
your
do
arms in them
at
too.
least here, and then I want it to be at least 6 more feet that come out and then another piece that pops up and flares. So I've got to figure out the contraption on that. But
There is plans already online for that because people have done that.
yes,
They're arm wings. So the arms are
yes,
actually in there and they go ahead and operate them. And they have a
yeah.
trigger inside at the end. So when their arms extend the rest, they pull the trigger and that does the last part.
But how does it fold back down?
So when you go ahead and undo the trigger, the end part folds in. And then when you bring your arm down, that folds in the rest of the way.
Oh, okay.
And then when you lower your arms, the rest of the wings come down because they're on a hinge.
Yeah,
So they only go up when you bring your arms up. And then after that, when you extend your hand out to do what you're holding, does the
yeah.
second section.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure out. Like if I strapped so like fabric up to my wrist and then had some kind of handle that I can flip with my finger up so that when I put it back down, I can fold it back under and then do two fake hands like this in the front.
Yeah.
Might do that.
It, and that would be amazing. I mean, you see Maleficent, but you don't really see that kind of Maleficent. And when you do, it's still the standard walking around, no wings. And if you do, they're usually small because some people don't want to do the full size because unless you have people going around with you, it does make it hard.
Yeah.
But
Well,
seeing that right there would be wow. Yeah.
yeah. So that might be one that I can do quickly. Like Wicket takes a while, the dragon took a while. The toothless body that I have, I don't really like. I know I keep telling myself to just make it work and fix it. I haven't made the head. I have the body, but it's a little heavy and I don't
Okay.
know how else to make it. So I kind of want to go back to the drawing board, but I also have spent about 50 hours on it. So I don't know if I want to scrap it quite yet. So I had to set it aside. That's what I do when I work on a project. If I get stuck or frustrated, I set it aside and I forget about it for a few weeks. And then I come back to it so that I can get a fresh perspective and look at it kind of again and see if I can fix it or make it work. But the problem that I have with this toothless that I built is he sits on my back like a backpack. So it looks
Mm-hmm.
like toothless is like this, but now my arm's too long to reach his head. So Toothless has a very short neck.
He does. But what if instead of doing Hiccup, you did Astrid?
Because it's
Hers has a long
his
neck.
I know, but it's not toothless. And he's already
I know.
black. He's got fur.
Oh, you already. Oh, okay. I did not know that part yet.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I have the tail and the wings and the legs and the body made, and I haven't made the head yet. But then when I put the neck on, which is the same distance as the neck of my other dragon, I'm like, this does not look right. It looks like Toothless got his neck stretched out. It doesn't look right. So I went back to the drawing board and was like, how do I fix this body to sit higher on my shoulders so that my arm can go through it? But now my arm won't fit through the body because it's all full of foam.
Ooh. I have an idea, but I think I'm going to save this till after the show so no one else hears what it is.
Okay.
This way, if you like it, it's a good surprise and people will not know what's going on.
Okay. I like that.
So we'll get back to that one a little bit later on. But you sent a lot of awesome photos. And
Yes.
after all the discussion here, talking about the puppets, for those who can't see them in the background well, or if you can, we got some stuff here to show you because, we talked about the dragon and Wicket. Look at this, people.
Yes, that's Drogon and Daenerys Targaryen. That's the one in Kalamazoo. Yep.
I really love the black and white, so I had to showcase those ones.
Yes. Yep, that's him. That's my furniture. That's a jewelry box. That's another jewelry box I made. That's my craft room in the background. There's Doobie. Yep, smoking his joint. That's Dr. Percival Constantine. And there's the first Wicket. And there's the second Wicket taking a nap. And there's Trixie, my daughter's monster. And that's me.
So I had to go ahead and showcase those, definitely.
for
Um,
sure.
your first Wicket with the gray face, honestly, I didn't think it was Wicket at first.
No, it doesn't look like Wicket, does it? I have him over here. Hang
No,
on.
but instead, it actually looks like one of the others.
This is the first Wicket.
So with the gray style and the setup there, because he has a little bit more of an elongated face,
Yeah, it's
I
too
was
big.
thinking I was thinking the gray one that had the spear in the beginning that was trying to go ahead and have fun poking fun at Han and everyone else.
Yes, he does a little bit.
So that's what I was thinking at first, and then when I found out it was Wicket, it's like, oh, it's still amazing, but the
Yeah,
color scheme,
he
that was
was
just the
well, and
thing that came to mind.
every Ewok is different in the movie. So I
Yes,
did my research. Yeah, every Ewok is different. But I started out saying that I was gonna make Leia and Wicket because that's like the main Ewok. So then I made this head, and this looks a lot more like Wicket,
very true. But still,
right?
both are amazing.
And he
And the
had a
funny,
sound box. He actually
did
makes
he?
Ewok sounds, but nobody could
Oh
hear
wow.
him because it was so loud at Comic Con.
Ah yeah,
So he didn't have so again, but then it added weight to the thing. You know what I mean?
I
So
do.
it was too much to add the and these are the ping pong balls. And then
If you
this
want to go ahead
guy,
and add, if you want to add voice and not do too much weight, but something simple, go to Build a Bear.
oh,
Get the small little voice box. Then you record the voice that you want in there, like a couple phrases, and
yeah.
that way you can put inside the mask. You can go ahead and put them on different sides. So maybe your forefinger hits the button on one, or your pinky hits it
That's
on
what
the
I did.
other.
I got the thing off Amazon. It was a voice thing, and
Okay,
then I had my husband record actual sounds from the movie of Wicket talking. So, and then, but you
nice.
couldn't hear it from the little tiny speaker with it being so loud. So then I was like, I'll have to hook it up to a better like speaker, better Bluetooth, something like that. And we just couldn't fit, I couldn't fit the weight in the puppet because I'm having to hold it like this
Yeah.
already. But a little trick to anybody who wants to do illusion puppets and they have to hold their arm up like that. Do you know the white shelf brackets that you can get at Lowe's? Put some padding on it, stick it right under there, and it'll actually hold your arm up just like this.
You know, every question I was going to ask, you've actually answered before I can ask it, which is awesome. Because that was the
Yeah.
biggest question. That's the biggest question I got from a lot of people when they saw your cosplay.
Yeah.
They're like, you need to ask her how she keeps her arm up the entire con like that, because I tried doing something like that, and 20 minutes later, I got to drop it, and here she is go for
Well,
hours.
the dragon one was the hardest because it was like this, and because you
Hmm.
had to keep your hand almost next and move it. So you don't get a lot of movement that way. His head's not very heavy, but one thing I would do is again working it into the character work is he got sleepy a lot. So he would come down like this and I would pat his head. It's okay, buddy. You're sleepy. Like
Okay.
that, which really I'm actually holding my arm up so that I could take a break from my, whatever. And his neck was long enough that when his head was down like this, I could rest it and I could actually lower my elbow like this and I would do this and it would hide my arm. So I could rest my arm down like that. But then when he woke up, he'd start nose up and he'd come up like that.
Love the movement.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So,
That
and if anybody's making a dragon, FYI, these are dollar store fake teeth. Fake nails. Sorry, for teeth. Fake
oh
nails. That's all they are.
really?
Yeah, they're just cut at an angle and put into foam, and they
Oh, that is
naturally fold
genius.
together because they naturally. And so they're just fake nails, like the real long fake nails. They've already got the little embedded part where you're supposed to put them on your nails, so you just cut at an angle, cut at an angle. I don't know. These are thumb ones.
But still, they
Yeah.
go ahead and add for that extra, because not all the teeth are the same. So changing them out like that,
Yeah.
that's
And they're all different sizes.
wow.
Ping pong balls. A little bit of UV resin over the top to make them shiny. This is just fabric laid down with the foam. I mean, he's got a personality. He's a little twitchy.
Yeah. In a place with tons of noise, why wouldn't he be, right?
Yeah, exactly.
That is one thing about the Comic Cons. It does get noisy at times,
Yeah.
but depending where you go, there's so much to do. And even if it's a smaller con, there's still a lot to do, which is nice.
Yeah.
But
I
but
didn't
earlier,
realize that celebrities went to Comic Cons. I didn't
yeah.
know that. See, again, every con I learned something new, and I'm like, there's celebrities here, there's celebrities here. And then I realized who they were, and they were actually like the voices of the shows that I watch.
Hmm.
Futurama, Family Guy, all these like awesome shows. And I'm like looking at this guy like, that's so and so from the show. That's so crazy. And then I totally geeked out because Tom Lennon from Reno 911 was at Motor City, and I met him. And I love Tom Lennon. Like, I love him. So I made a puppet of him because I love him so much. And the goal
Awesome.
was to have the puppet ready for him to sign at Comic Con. But instead, I was doing the Comic Con crunch, as they call it, the night before,
Yep.
trying to finish my cosplay. And I was competing that day. So I was like, oh, I got to hold off on the puppet. So now he's hanging out over there until I'm done.
And then when he's done, next time he shows up to a con, you'll be
Yes.
ready.
Yes,
So
I
I got a
will.
fun.
He
I have a
has
funny
a full
story for him.
cosplay. Oh, you do?
So last year, I ended off going down to GalaxyCon. It was in December, and I'm walking around. I'm near the celebrity area, and I turn around, and no more than turning around, there he is in full cop gear, going, "Hey, what's up, man? High five!" And of course, what's your first reaction? Someone says high five, you raise your hand, you give them a high five. So I do this, and then literally, I'm holding my hand here, going, and I turn around, he's already busy with a line.
Yeah. Oh, he's 100
But
miles an hour. 100 miles an
oh yeah,
hour.
but the fact he
For
was
sure.
right there, did that, it was like, dude, holy crap! I met him in passing, give me a high five, and then he jumped in someone's arms right there, showing off his
Yeah.
butt. They're like, let's go.
Yeah, we did that. Yeah, because when he posed with us, he was using his comb to comb Wicked's hair. He was like fixing his hair with his comb. And then we got a picture signed from him. And he was like, do you want to pose for a picture? And then he asked my husband, can you hold me? And he jumped up in my husband's arms. So he's like this with like a baby in my husband's arms. We love Reno 911. So that was super exciting. So that has started becoming a trend where I look and see who is going to be there. We met the guy who played Predator at Kalamazoo.
Yep,
The nicest person I think I've ever met in my life. And he
Derek
actually
Mears.
was the one, yes, he was the one that told me how to act for the competition that I won Best in Show. I don't know if you know that. I talked to him before that. And I said, I have this competition coming up. I've never competed before. I don't know what I'm doing. And he gave me the best advice. He said, you are not you anymore. You are Daenerys Targaryen. And you're going up there for everybody to look at you because you are the queen and you don't care what they think. You have to be her. And I was like, okay, that's going to be hard to switch off because I do care what people think. But I went up there and switched my brain into I am the queen with the dragon and all of you will bow to me. And I was a little nervous, but made it through. And I came back and I told him I got best in show and he gave me the biggest hug and he was just the sweetest man. So I was
He was.
so happy to meet him.
When I went up to him, I didn't have much money that weekend, and I told everyone that when I met them, I at least wanted to go ahead and tell them that I love what they do, and I had to at least shake your hand.
Yeah.
But he's looking around like, I don't see anyone else here. Why don't you stay here? Let's hang out. Let's talk. So we did, and then he ends up getting a picture taken with me, and he does it on his own accord, and it's like, I don't have anything. No, 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 we're doing this. You know what? Come on, let's go. And
Yes.
he was just phenomenal. I mean,
Yeah, we
I
didn't
didn't know
pay
what to
for one
expect.
either, and the whole family loves. My whole family loves Predator. Even the kids watch it. So we all watch Predator, and we're big horror movie buffs. So he was like, "Let me get a picture with the whole family," and he just like literally handed my phone to some random stranger and was like, "Take a picture. No, take a different one. No, you stand over here. Take a different one." And we got all these great pictures. And as we walked away, I said to my husband, like, "We didn't give him any money for his photos," and he's like, "But he didn't ask." And I said, "I know, but we should offer, right?" And he's like, "I don't know." And then I want to say my husband went back to try to give him something, I think, and he was like, "No." Just how cool is that? Like, where else are you going to meet such amazing people than at a Comic-Con? My kids loved it, and I have three very different children. I call them the triangle because they are all very different, very opposite
Okay.
of each other. Huh?
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've got my super smart, geeky artist, computer person whiz. I've got my clothes are not matching, drama, sweet, caring, more girly side, and then I have Shirley Temple. So, I mean, that's the three I have, and each one of them is so different, but they all went to their very first Comic-Con together with us, my husband and I, and they all found something for them. They all met people and found something for them that they could geek out over. And I thought, what other place can I come and bring my entire family and geek out over, whether it's horror movies, gaming, D&D. My oldest daughter is learning how to play D&D. I've never played it before. I don't know anything about it, but I think it's pretty cool. Like made up stuff. I was like, "Ooh, can I be a puppet?"
Technically, you could, but maybe not in the direct sense. There has
See,
been
I don't
stuff
know
like that where
anything
a
about it.
person.
I just know they have really cool monsters and books. When I went into this one store, they had a D&D book with all these like pictures in it,
Mhm.
and I was like, these are the coolest monsters. And they have all these really cool statue things that I think are so cool. And then I've watched people make like landscape things. I don't know what that's for, but that's really cool too. So I'm like, I like all the parts. I don't know how to play, but I like all the parts.
The simplest way to describe how to play. Have you seen a movie where someone is pretending to be someone else? Are you creative? Put the two together and roll dice. Someone else tells you where you're at, what's going on. You just choose, do I attack? Do I go left? Right? What do I do? You know what? I'm just going to go ahead and forget what you spent hours making and I'm going to go grab a beer at the counter, you know? So it's all imaginary, which is beautiful. And it allows you to use this more than anything else. And the creativity going into D&D is just amazing,
Oh, I
especially if
love
you have the
that.
right person telling the story. So if
Yeah.
they go ahead and tell you, you've just walked into Honeywood and you see a tavern. You've been traveling for hours and you're parched. They tell that story, the detail that goes into it. You start believing it. You hear, in your head, you see it. You know what's going on. And then you just make the decisions. Now, they could be a nice DM and say, okay, uh, go ahead and roll dice to see if you went ahead and convinced this person. All right. Or they can say, you just walked into a room, roll the dice. Uh, why am I rolling? Don't worry about it. I'll tell you later.
Yeah.
And then you have that anxious of what's going on. Did I set something off? Did I die? I, I, I need to know.
Can you die in D&D?
You can.
Oh,
But
okay.
the beauty of that is like anything, even if your character dies, you can roll up a new character, go through the books, choose everything, and then the DM can incorporate like you met this new person in another town. Maybe you had to rescue them, or they just randomly tried to rob you, but doesn't really want to, be a villain. They just need money, and then you say, "Hey, you want to come with us instead?" Now you're best friends. It's all up to how they want to paint that story.
Wow. Yeah, I
And
might have
since
to look
there's
into
so much
that.
you can do, there's a lot. But
Yeah.
we are coming towards the end of the episode.
Sure.
Uh, this has been a wonderful time. You have been a wonderful guest.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm sending hearts.
Now, Now, I do have usually a closers that I do right here before the episode ends. You've
Sure.
covered pretty much everything, but the big one right now is you have two cosplays so far that you've made. If you could choose either one of them and anywhere in the world to do a photo shoot with that character, where would you choose?
Mm. Does it have to be a real place?
No?
I would have to say Princess Leia and Wicket on Planet Endor.
So, Washington Redwood Forest?
Yeah. But it has to say Planet
Honestly,
Endor on it.
true. In my
No,
mind,
I
I was
don't know.
actually thinking you might have actually chose Wicket.
I don't know because I love Wicket and Leia. I mean, I really do have a connection with all my cosplays. I love my dragon, but if I could upgrade my dragon a little bit and change a few things and fix it and kind of take the glare off his eyes a little bit and make him a little bit more dark and dreary, I think the island of Crete, the castle of the Minotaur
Ooh,
in Crete with Daenerys Targaryen and Drogon.
I love that.
Yes, the
Oh,
castle of the
I
Minotaur, and it has to have the skulls on the wall,
obviously.
obviously.
Oh, I love that. That is one of the most creative that I've heard. That's
Yeah, it's very
wow.
specific, isn't it?
It's specific, but at the same time, I can see it, and that's just
Yes.
yes, heck yes.
You got to
Great
have like
choice.
the stone walls, the Minotaur, the skulls up on the. I mean, I'm kind of a dark and horror person, so you've got to have
Nothing wrong
something
with that.
really dark and smoky and like probably like a rainy, cloudy, nasty day, and it's got to be dirty and gritty and a little bloody, and yeah, that'd be sweet.
Which can always be done in post.
Yes, exactly. We'll add some blood to his teeth, some flesh or something,
There you go. All right. And last, of course, but not least, for anyone out there who'd love to get into cosplay, puppet work, or anything along the lines, what would you give as best advice?
Oh, best advice is honestly, you don't have to do it like anybody else. You really don't. You really don't. You can use a sock, you can use a piece of cardboard, you can use Amazon boxes, you can use a plastic bag, you can use hair clips as things, you can use ping pong balls and fake nails that you can go to Goodwill, you can find an old puppet and switch it. I had a couple monster puppets that I dyed their hair. I mean, I actually have videos on my TikTok on how to dye hair, on YouTube, how to fix like puppet hair and make it different colors. I mean, if you want to just have like, this is the best thing about puppetry. Okay. And this is all I'm going to say. When you bring a puppet into this world, you give it its soul. When
I
you give
like
a
that.
puppet its soul, you get to decide what soul it has. So it can be dark and dreary and monster, or it can cuss and swear and be sassy, or it can be sweet and girly and pink, or it can be radical and mohawks and piercings and tattoos. It can be literally anything. And that is the magic of puppetry, is that you are literally creating another soul and giving it whatever you want. So,
I love that. Thank you so much for
absolutely.
everything. So, everyone, it has been wonderful having you here again. And until next time, of course, remember, everyone, you can dream, believe, create. Until next time.